아, 다 있어?
일반 쓰레기는 아직 한번 보려고.
이럴 때는 최고지.
In a country with very few public garbage cans, you'd be surprised how happy we are to find a garbage disposal site like this on our van life journey, as we definitely don't find them that often.
Time to surprise the parents. They don't know we're coming.
이게 뭐죠?
저기 있어. 지금 오고 계시. 여기 있잖아. 자, 됐어. Yeah, we just got here.
You just got here?
Yeah.
Was it a good surprise? It was a good surprise. It was so funny.
I never thought we'd see you guys till the middle of April.
One of the hardest parts of doing YouTube full-time is balancing personal life with work life. As to be honest, we don't want to live our entire life for the sake of making a good YouTube video. We can film a little bit here and there with the family, but it's best to focus on actually catching up when we're together. And then go off in the van for a few days, almost like a work trip to explore a bit and film enough to make another video. Like we did here in the city of Changwon, right next to Busan, where we did some spring cleaning of our van, and we ended up finding another quiet beach by pure coincidence, and one more spot to add to our list of places to stay in our van.
BYC의 가품?
아니 BYC였는데 지금 실한 거야.
와, 진짜 웃기다.
Even when it's just the two of us, sometimes we have to film a lot more than we want to in order to have enough footage to make a video every week. And that's the reality of making YouTube videos right there, and probably why a lot of people burn out on it. But every job out there has ups and downs, and we're incredibly thankful that people have been willing to take time out of their day to watch our adventures and support us so much. So we just want to say thank you so much for everything. And back to our adventure, Changwon is famous for a type of seafood called Mideodeok, or sea squirt, which is a tunicate that looks like a squishy blob and it can also swim. We decided to try it out, so Yujin ordered a jampong, or Chinese-style seafood soup that had some inside.
이게 미더덕이야. 이렇게 생겼어. 좀 바위 껍질 같이 생겼죠. 이거 큰 거 먹어. 되게 아삭아삭하네.
Not my style, but
삼켰어?
it's probably the most exotic food that I've ever tried. What do you think?
나도 아마 살면서 5알 정도 먹어봤을 것 같거든? 왜냐면 나는 그 약간 식감이 굉장히 약간 딱딱하면서 질기잖아. 그리고 뭔가 이렇게 이로 이렇게 물어도 이게 잘 안 끊어지는 그 느낌 있지. 그것 때문에 나는 많이 안 먹었었거든? 그래서 이것도 진짜 오랜만에 먹은 거야. 근데 뭔가 되게 땅의 그 기운이 느껴지거든? 바닷속 깊은 땅의 기운이 느껴지기 때문에 약간 매콤한 거에 있을 때 드시라.
맞아.
한 번쯤은 드셔보시라.
We had a really great time exploring Judo-maul, or Judo Village, with its older tourist resort vibes and walkways along the rocky coast, which people have started building beautiful homes along. For us, after cleaning out our van, it was time to take my parents on a little adventure to show them some parts of the country that they'd never seen before.
Good?
As a Canadian who's lived in Korea for over 11 years, I'm so lucky and fortunate to have parents that put in so much effort to visit us here and try out things with an open mind.
사대에 한 사람씩 서서 이제 쏘는 거죠.
한 사대에 한 사람.
여기 이렇게 이 칸에.
여기 이렇게 한 명씩 그럼 7명이 있는
그렇지,
거예요? 한 사대에?
저 관에 7명이 서서.
1번에 7명, 2번에 7명.
네.
And you have to hit that number?
Yeah.
Have to hit it?
In order. Like 7 different people.
Wow.
Waiting here in the line.
I'm also so lucky how much effort my parents make to learn about and be interested in Korea, and also the effort that Yujin makes to teach them all about it. The managers of the archery range told us about a temple nearby called Hwaeomsa, located on the west side of Chirisan, the tallest mountain on Korea's mainland.
Cool little walk through the bamboo.
Hwaeomsa was founded all the way back in the year 544 by old monks of the Silla dynasty, and it's named after Hwaeomgyong, an important scripture of Taesung Buddhism that emphasizes the interconnectedness of all beings. This was the first time either of us had visited it, and we were all absolutely blown away by its breathtaking beauty and scale. We spent the night in Gurye, and my dad got a refresher of what it's like in the morning after a night drinking soju and beer, called somek. But in Korea, they got you covered on those slow mornings, with tons of different hangover remedies, the most popular one being condition.
Oh, it's good. It's good. I drank last night.
Our next destination was Namhae, an island on the south coast that Yujin and I spent a lot of time at when we started living in a van. There's an important piece of history right when you enter from the north, and there's a chance you might have heard about Admiral Sunsin, one of the greatest naval commanders in world history, especially known for the Battle of Mungyeong, where he defeated over 300 Japanese warships with just 13 Kobuksan, or turtle ships of his own. And Namhae is the location where he was killed during the Battle of the Noryang Strait, which you can see the exact location of. In 1832, a memorial was built here to honor his life and achievements, and later on, a park was built around it, with a big building in the shape of the turtle ship as well. Namhae is one of the most beautiful places that we've ever seen, and it's best to come here by car and drive along the coast to see some incredible views. Almost what you might expect from Jeju before it developed a lot of its hotels and resorts, but there's still lots of cafes and restaurants everywhere to enjoy the views. After showing my parents one of our favorite spots in Seoul-해수욕장, a quiet beach on the southeast tip, it was time to head to Jinhae, to what's arguably the most popular cherry blossom festival in all of Korea. The perfect way to end our road trip. The Jinhae Cherry Blossom Festival happens every year around the start of April, just a 45-minute bus ride from Busan's West Intercity Bus Terminal. And most of it happens along a stream called Yeojacheon, but it's expanded all over the city almost like a carnival of some sorts. So if you've never been there, it's a great way to celebrate the start of spring every year. It was so fun spending time with my parents, almost in similar fashion to how Yujin and I travel around in our portable home. And speaking of our home, it was time to get back on the road and start heading up to Seoul to prepare for the warmer temperatures, as summer is just around the corner, and we have a massive plan for the summer that we can't wait to share. Yujin's gonna cover this trip in a lot more depth on our channel, but I'll do a summary of it here. We started in the city of Yangsan, just north of Busan, at a massive park called the Hwaeomsa, and we arrived at the perfect time, just when peak season was starting in the southern part of the country, as our goal was to follow peak season slowly up to the north, as the cherry blossoms tend to bloom earlier in the south and then later up north. If you happen to arrive in Korea during cherry blossom season at the beginning of April, you can check neighbor maps to see the best places to see them. But to be honest, there are so many cherry blossom trees all over the entire country, so you might stumble upon some unexpected areas that are absolutely beautiful while just wandering around. We checked out the city of Gyeongju, the capital of the Silla Kingdom all the way back from the year 57 BC. That has a ton of history all around the city, and one of the best places for people new to Korea to check out its history. For us, we found Hungmuro Pokgokgil, or Cherry Blossom Road from neighbor maps, and when we arrived, it was a full-on festival.
봐봐.
이렇게 여중인데 다들 이렇게
그러네. 우와, 우와. 신기하다.
왜냐면 길 가운데 있으면 제일 귀엽고. 우리도 해볼까? 이제 의선 들어갔는데 연기 냄새 나지?
약간 탄 향이 나고.
연기 엄청 나는 거야.
이게 미스트가 아닌 거야?
이거 연기야.
약간 안개 이런 게 아니고?
At the end of March, Korea had the most devastating forest fires in its entire history, burning almost 120,000 acres, destroying 4,000 buildings, including Hwaeomsa, a temple that was over 1,000 years old, and there were 32 fatalities. It's one thing to hear about the news, but driving past the site made us realize just how severe it was, almost like a wasteland. We drove through the city of Andong, which we've been wanting to give a good visit to for quite some time, but it still had a strong smell of smoke, and it just felt like we shouldn't add any extra inconveniences by using the facilities there. So we continued forth up to the city of Mungyeong, now about 2/3 up the country, wishing strength to those affected by the fires, and hoping that things can be restored eventually.
왜 저래, 진짜.
진짜 많아.
진짜 빨라? 야, 왜 이렇게 숨을 차?
무서웠어. Mungyeong is one of the cities I remember a lot from cycling across the country from Incheon to Busan, as it's right after Hwaeomsa, the 5-kilometer ascent and the highest climb of the journey. And it's always so nice to arrive here, as it's where the mountains and farmland split, so you know you'll be in mostly flat land if traveling south, and if traveling north, you pass the Mungyeong Seje, a historic mountain pass used for defensive purposes during the Joseon dynasty, and north of it, the city of Chungju, a seemingly physically active city with a population of over 200,000 people.
지금 어디 왔습니까?
충주댐 여기 근처에 벚꽃길이 있거든? 근데 걷기가 진짜 좋다고 해가지고 오늘 아침 산책은 충주댐 벚꽃길.
내 네이버에서 그 벚꽃 명소 나오잖아. 어떤 데는 축제 있고 여기는 그냥 길만 있는 거지.
그래서 여기 보면은 길이라고 되어 있긴 하더라고. 근데 나도 여기 올 때까지는 그 차이를 좀 몰랐는데 축제와 길의 차이를 조금 구분해가지고 오면 드라이브를 하러 올지 축제를 구경하러 올지 정하기 조금 쉬울 수도 있겠다.
The Chungju Dam is the largest dam in all of Korea on the southern Han River, the same river going through Seoul, with a height of almost 100 meters, and it's built for energy purposes and also to control water levels during monsoon season in the summer. The cherry blossom road there is on a massive bank overlooking the dam, giving some very unique views. Also making me appreciate the fact that even in those big industrial-like areas, Korea puts in a big effort to encourage tourists to come check out some sites that would otherwise be missed. And it just so happened to be that this cherry blossom road would end up being one of the best we've ever seen.
차 없으니까 여기 좋아.
길이 너무 좋은 것 같아. 좀 더 야생의 느낌이 있다. 나무도. 이런 거 다 조절하는 거잖아. 여기는 좀 그 물이 센가 보다. 이런 초록색은 수력 발전이거든. 여기 약간 좀 물 센 데인가 봐. 그리고 여기는 물 양이 많아서 약간 다기능 이런 거 할 수 있는. 노란색.
보라색은 홍수 조절. 그래서 그때 비가 많이 왔을 때 있었지만 북한에서는 너무 많이
큰일 나.
근데 완전 열어버렸어. North Korea has two large dams controlling water flow heading to the south at the Hwangang Dam on the Imjin River and Imnam Dam on the Han River. And North Korea has been known to release water without any notice on certain occasions, such as in 2009 when they suddenly opened Hwangang Dam, leading to floods in the south, which caused lots of damage and 6 fatalities. And after that, the two countries signed an agreement to prevent this from happening again. but North Korea still ignores it to this day, as they've released the Hwanggang Dam without notice as recent as 2022 and 2024. And for us, Chungju was the final stop until we finally made it up north to Seoul. And it was our plan to get a trailer hitch so we could put a bike rack on our van to do some more cycling adventures on our journey. But unfortunately, our battery compartment prevents us from putting on a hitch.
So we gotta find a way to put a bike rack on that doesn't require a hitch. Back to the drawing board.
히치 가격 굳었다 야. 히치 안 달고 하는 방법 찾아야지.
지금 어디까지 왔어?
서울 한강이다.
솔로 왔는데 이제 벚꽃이 별로 없네.
아 그게 뭐가? 이게 뭐야?
아 저기 있어.
And that was the end of our big cherry blossom adventure, right on the Han River in Seoul, which is still one of my most treasured spots here, as there's nothing quite like having a picnic when the weather is nice and watching the day turn to night, with such a new perspective in the van, sleeping right in the middle of the city that never sleeps. For us, we learned that there's not really any best spot in Korea to see the cherry blossoms. There are the big festivals in Jinhae, the sprawled out parks along the rivers in Yangsan, and then into the mountains in Mungyeong and Chungju, which are all amazing in their own way. So the best spot for us was just wherever we happened to be at the time, as they're all over the country, can't really be missed, and also the true transition from winter into spring. We have some family time to catch up on, so there won't be a video next week, but big adventures await us. So until then, thank you so much for tuning in, hope you're all healthy and happy, and have an amazing week.